We're at our garage and test facility. Let's see what we're rolling out today. Well, we got ourselves a 2021 Toyota Highlander, the new 4th generation version. And the weather report says it's going to be clear and sunny today. As you can see, they got it slightly wrong. So I'm going to do this without getting wet, I think. Here's the rear view. Nice looking vehicle. And one of the first things we do when we get a vehicle is take the headlights out and see how they perform. Can't do it now because it's too wet and there's sunlight, but we'll take it out tonight. So let's fast forward a bit. Okay, it's dark enough. Let's see how these headlights work. Look pretty bright to me. And these are the low beams, like so. And the high beams. And one thing I've noticed, when you turn off all of the automatic safety nannies that control the steering, braking, etc., you get these orange warning lights on the dash standing out in the dark. Not a good idea because they're the same color as your check engine light. If you ignore these, you might ignore something important. They need to make these a different color. They definitely do. In the meantime, here are the low beams, only about 100 feet away, very bright, good widespread, very impressive. Go to high beam. Definitely good in the middle. Here's what the rear view camera looks like in the dark. Not the sharpest clarity I've ever seen, but more than adequate. The rest of the cabin, well, we just don't have that many gadgets. The Lexus I had last week lit up like a Christmas tree, but here's pretty basic stuff. And here the high beams are on a fence 80 yards away. The building 130 yards of what we can see. Decent spread. Low beam reaches out. Overall, I give the headlights a passing grade. Very good. Comfortable suspension too. You can see that on our full-size test. And the second thing we do is check and see if there's a spare tire, especially on an SUV that might be taken off-road. Let's take a peek under here. Well, we got a tool kit. Must be a spare somewhere. Yep, outside below the frame. Get it flat, you're going to get dirty getting that out. Under the hood, a 3.5 liter V6, 8-speed automatic transmission, 295 horsepower. If you don't want that, there's a 2.5 liter hybrid, putting out 243 horsepower. We'll be taking this out and getting the real world fuel economy figures for you real soon. Don't go away. The base price of a Highlander runs $35,000. Let's take a look at the price sheet and see how much this one costs. This is the upgraded XSE V6 all-wheel drive. That means it costs more. Here's your standard equipment. And here are the options where they nickel and dime you to death. And here's the final tab. For those interested in a Highlander with better fuel economy, we did a test on the Highlander Hybrid. We'll have a link for that video at the end of this video. Just go to the end, click and watch. Or if you're like me and don't really care about fuel economy, we did a video on the Toyota Land Cruiser. That'll suck the tank dry real quick. We'll have a link for that video too at the end of this video. By the way, this is an all-wheel drive version, not two-wheel drive. I'm going to take a look at the cabin. The first thing I noticed, the door panels go all the way down. That's good. It means the rocker panels will stay reasonably clean and dry, which means it won't be getting on your pants. And since this is all-wheel drive, we have a control here for mud, sand, rocks, and dirt. if you decide to go off pavement. On the street, sport, normal, and eco mode. Snow, crawl control, and a button to turn off that idiotic start-stop device that shuts off the engine at a stoplight, supposedly to save fuel. You live in Los Angeles, maybe, but anywhere else it doesn't really work well. I turn it off. The info screen isn't the largest I've ever seen, but more than adequate. The resolution is excellent in the daytime, a lot better than what we see at night. The climate controls are very simple. Buttons and knobs, the way it should be. There's lots of room in the glove box if you take out that thick owner's book, put it somewhere else. The gauge cluster is well designed, gives lots of useful information. Unfortunately, we get that Toyota glare that seems to be prevalent on almost all Toyota Lexus products. You think somebody would notice this and do something about it someday, but it just doesn't happen. The buttons on the steering wheel are large enough, pretty easy to use, especially with gloves. I really don't have any complaints about the cabin, but just a note, I think they could have made it a little fancier. It's kind of stark in here, especially with the black shade. But everything works the way it should be, and all the controls are the way they should be, so I'm really not complaining. The rubber cargo mat back here is nice, but if you were paying attention to the price sheet, more than $300? Come on now. If you lose it, that's what you're going to pay to replace it. All my driving's been in the city, short trips, heavy on the throttle, 18.0 mpg. Not bad. We'll be doing some more driving later on, see if we can bump these numbers up. And by the way, this has all the safety nannies that controls the steering, braking, all that. A lot of this stuff can be disconnected, but the problem is when you turn the vehicle back on, these come back on again. I don't want a lot of this garbage. I want it off. There you go, push of a button. They're all off, but as soon as you turn the ignition off and on again, they'll come back on again. As I showed you when we did the headlight test, when you turn this stuff off, you get these orange warning lights that are the same color as the check engine lights, and I don't want to look at this. If I'm going to ignore orange lights, I might ignore something important. These should be a different color, like green or purple or something. If you turn off the start-stop system, you get another orange light. Terrific. Now I got, what, 4 to look at? Alright, part 1 show and tell is over. Let's go out and do some driving, and all-wheel drive gives pretty good traction in the rain. Let's find out and take the turning circle in the rain. Sticking like glue. Very impressive. Toyota and Lexus vehicles have some of the best electric power steering there is. Excellent feel and feedback. Feels hydraulic. Definitely like it. No complaints here. As we do in all my videos, we're going to take some mild speed humps. 15 miles per hour. See how the suspension performs on impact. Here's number 1. These are large tires, so obviously we're going to hear some thumping, but the suspension does a pretty good job of absorbing the impact. Number 2. Number 3. And here comes the nasty one. Whoa! Heard that one. But again, these are bigger tires than we get on the standard Highlander. This is a very pleasant vehicle for daily commuting. The steering, nice brakes, smooth ride, driving position, everything is just right. Which probably explains why they sell so many. They're reliable too, one of the most reliable SUVs on the market. We're going to take this rig on a highway trip, see what type of fuel economy we get. And I might add, this is a very comfortable vehicle on the freeway. Very smooth and quiet. A bit of wind noise from the mirrors for some reason, but nothing you can't get used to. I was getting 28 miles to the gallon, but since we have people like this driving 55 in a 75 zone, we'll have to do a lot of passing, and that's going to kill the mileage in the end, I'm sure. Move over, roadhog. Well, I was getting 27 to the gallon, but had to do a lot of passing to get around those slow pokes, so it dropped to 25.2, but still a pretty good figure. So what's my take on this Highlander after a week of driving? Bottom line, it's a very excellent vehicle. Gone through a lot of refinements over the years, and Toyota got it right. Of course, price-wise, you have to watch that option list, where the price can really soar in a hurry. That's my only beef with this vehicle. You get very, very expensive. There's some other vehicles we did videos on. Just click and watch.